All right, welcome back to the To Be Better podcast. We are the Chris's. We do question and answers, emails, and sometimes we simply talk shit. But first, a disclaimer.
We are not professionals.
No.
Everything that we speak on is opinions derived from experiences and outside knowledge we've gotten from other resources.
Mm-hmm.
If you get any value or something we said resonates with you, share this.
Yes, that's how we grow.
And if you're not subscribed, why not?
Yeah, that's a good question.
If you're not subscribed, you're going to miss out on this whole experience. That's the Chris's.
That is the Chris's.
Please leave a comment. Your comments are actually super dope to read. Knowing how that we've impacted you or your relationship, it just helps us continue to do what we're doing, and it shows that what we say works sometimes. And to submit a question or just to email us and say how we've helped or maybe constructive criticism, email us at tobebetterco@gmail.com.
The number 2.
The number 2. Emails will be read anonymously on this podcast, unless specified otherwise by the sender. So if you don't want us to put your story out there, tell us that.
Correct.
If you're going to send emails, please be as detailed as possible. If you give us a one-sided email about how your partner is the problem, that is all we will address.
Yeah, you will get a one-sided reply.
Yes. Nobody is perfect. Take accountability. Everybody can grow.
Whew, preach.
And we are giving unbiased, honest opinions. We are not yes men. So if you submit something to us, be prepared for an answer that you might not like getting. But we are going to give you a very honest, outside perspective.
Is that the full disclaimer?
Yeah.
Now to the episode.
Okay.
All right, so we actually have a lot of emails. I don't know what's going on with my microphone today. Everything seems off now because of this butt pillow. I have 3 emails. You have one really long one.
Yes.
I have screenshots I've saved on my phone. We have lots of stuff for content, but I want to hurt some feelings first.
Oh, okay.
You
Let's go.
want to do a standalone hurt your feelings, or you want to do the hurt your feelings and then read an email?
What do you mean standalone hurt your feelings?
Because I'm seeing a lot of people saying how shitty men are and they've never had this great relationship and blah blah blah, and I'm about to shit on some people.
Oh, you mean the common denominator?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go.
You want to just do a standalone?
Yeah, I'm here for that conversation.
And we're recording, right? Everything's good.
Yes.
Okay. So we are going to do a standalone video today. We have multiple emails and things that we're going to get into. It's New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. So happy New Year to everyone. I realize that we have videos coming up all the way to the 5th, and we didn't say that in any of the videos because we pre-recorded them all.
Crazy. We just post this one first.
No. I mean, we could. It could be a standalone for tomorrow.
Yeah.
We are going through TikTok today and looking at our comments, and everything that we're seeing and that we've discussed has one common denominator, and that is you. You guys, I'm seeing constantly saying there's no good men, there's no good women, women are gold diggers, men are selfish.
Every relationship I had was shit.
And it's over and over and over again.
Yes.
So I want to point out that every relationship that you have ever been in has failed, and you are the one who's been in every one of those relationships.
Right.
It is very easy to take accountability and realize that you've been fucking up your entire life and it's time to do better. Mm-hmm. There is no reason to not start working on yourself, to not start fixing and looking inward and trying to be the best version of you and finding better partners and not settling and not picking the same thing that you've been picking. Because if you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always got.
Yep.
It is not hard to realize that you want change in life and to actively start changing things.
I agree.
I get so tired of all the negative Nancys on TikTok just talking about how horrible their life is.
Yeah, some days it gets to me, but other days I'm like, I don't know what that's like.
Right.
Sucks to be you.
Right. But you've also had people today say it sounds like our relationship is made up. Like it's just, it can't possibly be real.
It kind of ties in, but like this morning on my way to go grocery shopping, I had a super frustrating morning. Your eyebrows made me happy though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. But I was sitting in my car and I was like, my life really isn't that bad.
Right.
I've had super shitty relationships. My relationship now is dope because I went through all of those changes. And I was like, I'm really glad I've gone through that growth. And I've listened to a lot of Jordan B. Peterson recently.
I love that dude.
Oh God, he's so fucking smart.
I want half of his intelligence.
I would love it. And I was sitting in my car and I was like, I finally understand people who say, once you look into yourself and accept that you want peace, you're going to give yourself peace.
Right.
Like, I get it. That was a really big moment for me because realizing that sometimes I'm the fucking problem and working through that, my life is so dope now. And it's possible, guys.
We've all been in bad situations.
Right.
Like I said at the beginning of this, every relationship that you have ever been in has failed. Same with me.
Yeah.
And I've had some long fucking relationships. But things didn't add up. And I learned a lot of things along the way. And this is also why, well, it's part of the reason why when people start questioning how long we've been in our relationship, it's because they want to be like, well, wait till you're at 10-year mark or wait till you're at the 20-year mark. And they want to fucking start throwing shade at us because our relationship is not seasoned yet. I've been in those relationships. I have picked apart everything that I did wrong in a 20-year relationship, marriage included. Like, I know my faults. I know what my shortcomings were. I was able to, okay, this is where things started to change. This is where things got worse. This is when I should have walked away. This is when I actually walked away. I have done all of that dirt. And I'm taking full accountability in that. And it's also why I don't talk about my previous marriage in terms of why things ended, because it's my fault. Doesn't matter why it ended. I have my own accountability in that. She has hers, and I'll be the villain if that's what it takes. I don't really give a shit. I learned a lot from that scenario, and I'm a better man because of it. All of the things that we're talking about and the things that we do in this podcast and the books that we've read and all of the work that we've put in is to get us here.
Right.
It doesn't change the fact that, we're not seasoned. We've been through all this shit. We've been doing the work. We've been reading the books. We've been doing the podcast.
It's almost like we know what we want.
Right. And we're not just going, oh, it'll come eventually.
Right.
Fuck that. Or if you want something, go get it.
Right. And all these people who get with somebody and they're like, well, this happened and that happened and this happened. They're showing you that they're probably not what you want. And if you marry that person, a marriage is not going to change that person.
Not even a little bit. It's like having a baby to save a marriage.
Right.
You can't do that shit, guys.
You really can't. And, I've been in situations where I've been cheated on. Nobody ever deserves to be cheated on.
Nope.
But in those moments, I took a step back and I was like, you know what? I was kind of being a bitch. Maybe I was nagging too much. I wasn't emotionally available to him.
Heads are rolling right now in the comment section, by the way. People are fucking rage typing.
I denied sex. Like, even though I wasn't, I just didn't want to anymore. I was not attracted to him. I was not attracted to his mentality. I turned down sex every time he asked for it. Damn! So convenient.
Right. It's like I put these on here.
It's almost
today.
like it was customized. Crazy.
Yeah, wild.
And because even though he was doing things to make me less attracted to him, I'm part of the reason he cheated on me.
Yep. But you're able to realize that.
Right.
And those small accountabilities and knowing these things and going, okay, if I want a man that's going to have traditional values, I have to be a traditional value woman. If I want a man who's going to lead, I have to let him lead.
Right.
There's, it really is common sense. If you just sit down for a second and really realize what you want and then look at the people you choose. Do those align with the things that you want, or are you just settling right now because you're tired or you're alone or you're afraid or you're hopeful that you're going to change someone? Because I fucking promise you, you're not going to change somebody. They have to change themselves because they want to.
Yeah.
And if they picked you and you picked them, they're picking you because of who you are, not because of what they think they can change you into. So trying to do that is going to fail.
Right.
I don't understand why people... I actually don't understand why people don't just scroll by. If you disagree with something or you don't like it or you got some negative shit to say, just swipe up.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the end of the world to not be heard unless you were that deprived of attention and you just fucking need attention.
Right.
Because that's what they're doing. Oh, pity me. Pity me. Carl Jung influenced, or his scriptures, that was definitely the wrong word. His writings influenced the control dramas in the Celestine Prophecy book.
Yeah.
Did you ever read that? I know I gave it to you at one point.
Yeah, I read it. That was actually a really good book. I enjoyed it a lot.
It is a really good book.
I need to go back and read it again.
Talks a lot about synchronicity.
Oh,
but
man.
They talk about control dramas, and the control dramas are the pity me. Oh man, it's been so long since I've read that. The pity me, the bully, the victim,
There's another
the
one.
aloof. Are you looking up control dramas?
I am.
Okay, good, because I can't. It's been like 3 years since I've read that book, and I've read that book a lot. You think that I would have those memorized?
Right. So the 4 control dramas are Intimidator, Interrogator, Aloof, and Poor Me.
There's one more in the book. There's 5 in the book.
Is there 5 in the book?
The other one has got to be the victim. Read them again. It was the bully, the intimidator.
The Aloof, and the Poor Me. So the ones, yeah, that's 4 of them.
There's a 5th one in the books. Anyways, so regardless, the Celestine prophecy, when they explain these control dramas, they talk about the way that people take energy from each other. And the pity me person is the one who's always got to be the victim in everything.
Right.
You know, oh, the world hates me.
Bad things always happen to me.
Woe is me, woe is me. Give me the attention. I need the energy. And,
Right.
and that's how they get energy out of people. The bully.
They're siphoning the energy.
Right. The bully is the one who's always intimidating and shitting on people. And they explain all these control dramas, and it is basically an energy transfer.
It is.
And once you realize what that is and you understand that that's actually a psychology thing and you see it on TikTok, it's like, no wonder they left you. Like, no
Right.
wonder you've had a shitty relationship every single time. There's no accountability here. You're crying about your fucking life. Nobody wants to hear that all the
You're
time.
deflecting.
Right. It is so much. I get so much hate because of the extreme accountability, and I'm okay with it. Because when I hear people complaining about their life and they're not willing to take extreme accountability and they're blaming me and they're saying, well, you know, what if somebody has cancer and what if this and what if that? And they start throwing all these really wild scenarios at me. You're showing me you're a victim.
Right.
You're showing me that you can't take accountability and you have no interest
You're not even open
in
to it.
owning your fucking life. Like, oh,
Absolutely flabbergasting. Like the people out there who are like, I want your relationship. I love what you guys have.
work for it.
Right. Like if you are a man and you want a woman like me, you need to step up. You have to be a provider. You have to be a protector. Do you have to support me wholly? No. You know, there are people out there in traditional relationships who both work and they split the household duties, but you have to be respectful. If I tell you to block a woman, you're going to block a woman.
Hell yeah.
Unless, you know, 20-year friendship, I'm not going to tell you to do that. But if some
Right.
random woman reached out to you on the internet and I'm uncomfortable with it, I wouldn't even have to ask you.
Right. And I've
I
shown you
know.
that.
Right. I know that you would do it.
I would also like to point out on the finances thing, because we get a lot of people like, well, you know, if we're just dating, I'm not paying for everything. No shit.
Right.
You should pay for dinner dates when you go out to dinner. You shouldn't be paying her rent if she's living in an apartment and you're living in an apartment. Like, unless you guys are living together and playing married,
Right.
you're not responsible for her bills. And, you know, I see that all the time too. Well, women are just gold diggers and they just want my money. So find better women, dude. Like, you're courting them.
Right.
Take the time to date and learn who they are. And if they're constantly in need and always want you to give them money, that's what they want from you. Close your fucking wallet and walk away.
Right.
I don't understand where you think things are going to get better, especially if you're just courting. You know what I mean? It blows my mind that people don't want to just do more.
Right. And I want to touch on, like, for a woman out there, I get a lot of women say, how did you get that man? You're so lucky. How did you land him? Because I'm submissive.
You know, that makes me feel like a catch.
You are
When
a
you
catch.
say, I don't believe that. You know what I mean? Like, I know my worth. I do
Right.
know my worth. I'm not playing aloof and saying, well, give me the attention, because
Right.
that's not the case. I know my value, but I also know my self-esteem, and I'm being realistic with myself when I say I don't feel like a catch.
Right.
But to know that, like, I have done all the dirty work in myself, and the conversations that we have had, I feel like you are my equal. So when you submit to me or when I serve you and we do the things that we do, I don't have a problem doing that because I know there's not an ulterior motive there.
Right.
I don't feel like I am putting myself out in any scenario because you don't ever ask me for fucking anything.
I don't.
I make sure you have what you need. And when there's extra money and I'm like, let's go shopping. I want to buy something nice. Like, that's a me thing. That's never a you thing.
I don't think I've ever asked you for anything expensive. I ask for grocery money sometimes, like
Yeah.
when money's tight. I ask if, like, it's okay if I spend $400 or $500, but I have never come to you and said, I want this $3,000 pair of heels.
No, that was a me thing. I wanted to see him over my shoulder. You got to bring in the new year like that. Wait, where's the whistle?
You don't even remember.
Shoppers, can I get a fucking oh yeah? Oh yeah?
Guys, I am such a simple creature. I get so much enjoyment out of this stupid thing that, like, when you were at the grocery store and I loaded all this up, I was in here pushing all the buttons, listening to them all.
I love that. It makes me happy that you're happy.
It's such a simple thing. In my butt pillow. My tailbone is not touching the chair at all right now.
I love that for your butt.
Oh, me too. We're 13 minutes in. Do you want to continue this topic, or would you like to stop and go to an email? Because
I wanted to continue on, like, the traditional woman
Let's
thing,
do
but I
that.
don't remember where I was going with it.
you know that you've had a lot of people wanting you to make that video.
I know, and I have a lot of key points. Ooh, I was also thinking, what if I did, like, I'm gonna kind of like whisper so they can't see me saying it and make me feel less guilty. I know they can hear it, but they can't see me. I'm telling you a secret.
Sure. Okay. Let's do that then with the ASMR.
So what if I make a list, right? I have a whole compiled thing of how to be a better wife, but I only drop like one every episode. So you guys have to keep coming back and watching us.
Your devious plan. Mwah. Well, would you like to drop one now?
I am going to drop one now.
Let's do that then.
And I will always like foreground like, hey guys, I'm going to drop a tip. So if you want to like get a notebook and write it down, I'm dropping a tip.
Dropping knowledge.
So something that I consciously make a decision, and you've never asked me to do it, and I'm actually really big on this because I take a lot of pride in doing it. I serve you every meal. Mm-hmm. And when you are done, I will get your plate and I will take it away. Almost every time.
Mm-hmm. Is there more to that?
No, that's
okay. You're just bragging on yourself.
I am bragging on myself a little bit, but that is a conscious decision I made. Like I didn't do that when we
Right.
first moved in together.
Mm-hmm.
And I was cooking dinner one night and I was like, I'm gonna walk this man his plate. And I was like, no, because what if that's stupid? I was like, what if he doesn't like it? What if he like questions me? And I'm like, plate?
Plate.
And I walked it out to you and I set it on the table. And like you looked at the plate and you looked at me and you're like, thank you? Like a question? And I was like, you're welcome. And I went back to the kitchen and I was like, oh no, was that an awkward moment for us?
So it's also important to note that I won't eat until you sit down.
That is true.
So the first time you did that, I did eat without you because you brought me a plate.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's time to eat dinner. And then a few minutes later, you came out and we finished dinner together. But that was not a conversation we had ahead of time.
Yeah, I just did it.
Right. And then you took the plate away too. And I'm like, damn, she took the plate. I'm like, yes. You know? But in that same thing, like when the kids are here,
Mm-hmm.
when you set the table, well, you know, our daughter sets the table for you. We're teaching her chores.
Mm-hmm.
And responsibilities, but I get my plate first.
You do.
Kids get theirs and we wait.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody sits down and we eat together. That is, it is a form of submission. You're putting everyone else in front of you, which is huge. But then us waiting for you to sit down and eating as a family is us submitting to you.
Right.
And when you look at it that way, we are living a traditional value relationship, traditional role, whatever you want to call it, but we are serving each other.
Right.
That is important to me. That's something that I've always wanted. Mm-hmm. Regardless of what I witnessed growing up, my mom has always been that way for my stepdad, always. And he's a hardworking dude. Like, my stepdad is a fucking gangster when it comes to things he does. Mm-hmm. He's got a pilot's license. He can do hurricane shutters. He can build a house. He can rebuild an engine. He is one of those jack of all trade men that I've respected my entire life because of it, because I can barely build a birdhouse, let alone rebuild a car engine, you know? But because he's been the provider and the one who works and does everything for her, she does for him, and it's never questioned. They don't fight over it. Like, it's just, you do for me, so I'm going to do for you. We're going to take care of each other. And they've been married since like 1986.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah. It might have been 87.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, though, it was in the 80s. Like, you know.
So as a man, I brought up the whole conversation. And my tip was walking your plate and taking it away. Mm-hmm. Have you ever had that happen before?
Once. It's never been a consistent thing.
Yeah.
I've had one person take my plate, like pick my plate up and take my plate away. But it was because it was a conversation that was had. And it was like it's like when you say something like, if you were like, you know, I'd really like you to open the car door, and I opened the car door once.
Right.
It's not a consistent thing. It was just that one time because you mentioned it, kind of thing. So, but I've also been in positions where I've been at other people's families' houses with a woman, and I was like, are you going to make my plate? Because like, I'm not comfortable going in there and like just going through their shit. And they're like, no, go get it yourself. I'm like, what? Fuck you. I don't even want to be here. You know what I mean? I'm here because you asked me to be. The least you can do is make my fucking plate. I don't know.
I did that for you too.
Yep.
Like if we're in a public place, like.
But yeah, you've done that. You've done the making the plate thing. You did it at your mom's. We were in Georgia. You made my plate and brought it out to me while we sat there, you know, on our way back from our little vacation on Thanksgiving Day. Those things go a long way. Showing your partner that you want them to be comfortable and you want them to feel important and first and like they matter. That shit goes a long way. Like, I have to make a note so that I don't have to scrub and look for something later.
Okay. Once you realized it was going to be a consistent thing for you, like I was going to do this for you, how did that make you feel?
So at first, like, it was super dope. Like, I'm like, this is amazing. I know that I'm always going to get fed. Then it dawned on me that I don't have to worry about what you're making. Like we have that conversation every once in a while. And this morning, so we also, just so everybody knows, we have cardio sessions where we go to a park nearby and we walk 2 miles every morning. Because of the hurricane, this is the first time since September we've been able to go.
Yeah.
And during that walk, we talked about breakfast, and one of those talked about meals. And one of those conversations was, you get tired of having to pick what we're going to eat because that is the most difficult decision that you have to make.
Right.
But knowing that I don't have to worry about that anymore. I will eat the same thing over and over and over again. And as long as it's something I enjoy, I will never complain about it. I don't like chicken. I don't like fish. So those things I'm going to bitch about. But like the little enchilada bowl things that you make and all the little keto recipes, I will eat that shit. The chicken pot pie you make, oh my God. I love that. And chicken pot pie is one of my favorite things. I just can't eat it because it's so carb heavy.
Right. And I found a keto version of it.
Right. So, and I will wreck that thing. So knowing that I don't have to make those decisions is also really big for me and huge. So first, that was the scenario. Like I realized I wasn't going to ever have to make my plate again. I was just going to be able to come down, sit down and eat. And that was going to be dope. And then I realized I didn't have to worry about the food anymore. Like you're handling all of the menu items. And like, I don't even have to tell you what I want. You just make it and I eat it. I would also like to point out that I've never not eaten something you've put in front of me. I may tell you after the fact, like, hey, it needed more salt, or I didn't like this part of it, but I will eat whatever you put down because you cooked it.
Right.
If you're going to spend an hour in the kitchen or 2 hours in the kitchen cooking something, I don't care. I don't care if it's liver and onions. I'm gonna eat it. I may not like it, but I'm gonna eat it. Then it started to be one of those things where I kind of just, I don't want to say I took it for granted because that would imply that it's not happening anymore. And I realized I missed it, but, I think that I've just come to expect it now.
Yeah.
I'm spoiled. That's it. I'm a spoiled fucking child right now. Like I know that I'm gonna get my plate brought to me by a beautiful woman every night at dinner time.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
So, ladies, that is a tip if you would like to implement it, see how he reacts, see how it maybe changes some things. Maybe he might show you some more appreciation somewhere else.
That was another thing I wanted to talk about. Can we talk about the reciprocation thing a little bit? I know that we touched on it on an earlier question and answer. And my mom brought it up to my attention. Also, guys, moving forward, if I say my mom, I actually mean my adopted mom. I don't speak to my blood relatives at all. So if I say my mom, I mean my adopted mom. In the event, so she said to me, people can match energies. If you're given the silent treatment, you give the silent treatment back. If somebody's yelling at you, you yell back. If negative energies can be matched, and people are matching energy, because that's the quote nowadays,
Right.
You can match love energies. And if people are going above and beyond for you, you should want to reciprocate that.
Right.
There's also something you guys should look into called the law of reciprocation, or the rule of reciprocation. This is a business tactic. And it's been discussed at length. When you get something for free in a business, you are more likely to give them more money because they've given you something. You feel obligated at that point to do something more in return.
Right.
That's how the Hare Krishnas in the 80s made their religion thing get so big. They gave you something at the airport and you feel obligated to buy their book. It was a hustle.
Right.
But if your woman is bringing you your plate, maybe you could do the dishes or buy her flowers while you're at work tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like you're going to have some sort of want to do something back because it is constantly happening.
Right.
And when you're constantly doing things like that, and I know that these things are going to happen, I don't have to worry about any of that shit. So in the event that you do ask me for something, I'm going to give you a hard time about it because it's funny to me to do so.
Right.
But it's pure sarcasm.
Right.
Like, what was it that you asked for? You asked for like, it was like $20 for something the other day.
Right.
And I was like, nope, you're spending all my money. I ain't giving you shit. You know, we laughed. You're like, are you serious? I'm like, no, it's just too much money. $20 is a lot. I ended up giving you like $100 to go do whatever you wanted to do. But like, that, I don't know. I do that out of like poking fun.
Right.
But I always give everything. And then when the event that you do ask me for something, you get above and beyond because you go above and beyond.
Yeah.
It's reciprocated. I want to do because you do. If people experience that in the comments and they were to be the bigger person and put themselves out there and try to do a little bit more, and it would get reciprocated. And if it didn't, you know that that's not your person. They don't give a shit enough about you. They're here for themselves. They're selfish. Walk away. Especially if you're in a courting phase. It's not hard to go, okay, this ain't my person.
It's
Deuces.
really not. Like, don't stay with someone because you're afraid of being alone.
I would rather be alone than mistreated.
Yes, 100%.
Okay. We're 23 minutes into this one, so you want to call it and move on to the emails? All right. Thank you guys for listening to us vent because I needed that. So we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.